books that I own because I wanted to and I needed something to do. So, welcome. To get started, I have a giant stack of classic books over here. The first one, I don't really know if it's a classic. It's, as we know, Jurassic Park. I like the visual effect that this does with my nails. If you look at it, it makes me think of like when you drive through like any street, they have these lights that you just see pass you. Anyway, I've always been a fan of Jurassic Park. Of course, I think some of their newer movies aren't good. I don't really like Chris Pratt. I'm sorry. He low-key sucked butt. But I still love Jurassic Park. I've always been a fan of dinosaurs, so it was really good. I thought the concept of humans taking things they shouldn't mess with and it backfiring on us brutally is very important. Take, for example, the Indominus Rex. How in the Jurassic World movie, she was like mixed with a bunch of different things and she was too smart for her own good. That's what happens when you mess with stuff you shouldn't be messing with. Okay, next book. White Knights by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And you're gonna find out that I own a bunch of these books by him because he is one of my more favorite classic authors. I love the cover of this book. I think it's beautiful. And it's the few books I own that's a hardcover because I don't buy these types. I usually buy paperback. I have yet to read this book, just like I haven't read the Jurassic World Park book. But that's just because I'm reading another book that I'll talk about later once I get through these. Sorry. So the next book that I bought White Knights and this book, The Bell Jar, at a local bookstore. I actually don't know anything about this woman. I've heard she's kind of racist, but I wouldn't know much about her. I don't read into her. I just know she's dead, like it says right here. But people say the book's good, and I wanted to read it because I like reading stuff that, is good. But I read a lot of stuff where the main protagonist spirals. So I was like, sure, why not get the book where the person spirals? So the next book is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Also, I'm sorry if you hear any thunder. There's a storm coming, so pray. I bought Frankenstein because I thought that the next thing I'd read in my AP Lit class was in fact Frankenstein. I was wrong. We read group books. I read a pretty good book actually. I read The Island of Sea Women. I forget what the author's name was, but it was a beautiful book. It made me cry by the end. So one day I plan to read Frankenstein out of my pure enjoyment. But I have to get through the first book I'm reading. Like I said, I'll show you later. Speaking of my AP Lit class though, the next 3 books should be the books I read for AP Lit. So, we had a project where we had to pick an author and stick with them. So I picked Fyodor Dostoevsky because I knew nobody else want to read those books. And therefore, was actually the Brothers Karamazov, and this is the last book I read. Notes from Underground. I actually really liked this book compared to the other books, just because it was interesting to me. Let me pick something that, one of the things I put a sticky note on. 1 second. Oh, absurdity of absurdities. Quite another thing is to understand all, to be conscious of all impossibilities and stone walls, not to be reconciled with a single one of these impossibilities and stone walls if you are loath to be reconciled, to reach by a way of the most inevitable logical combinations, the most revolting conclusions. That's all I'm going to read, because he doesn't stop from there. He talks a lot. Let's see. I have a lot of sticky notes in here. I kind of want to read another. I forgot how much I like this book. 1 second. Here we go. But I couldn't stand it myself because I'm trash. I got all scared and like a fool gave you my address. Devil knows why. And afterwards, even before I got home, I was already cursing you up and down for that address. I already hated you because I lied to you then. Because I only talk a good game. I only dream in my head. But do you know why? Or do you know what I want in reality? That you all go to hell. That's what. I think that's all I'm gonna read, because the sticky note got in my way and I look like an imbecile for not knowing how to read. But I liked the book. It was one of my favorite out of the 3 I did read. Okay, now we're gonna read Brothers Karamazov. And by read, I mean I'm gonna tell you about it. Brothers Karamazov is a murder mystery of 3 brothers and 1 father. The father ends up getting murdered. And the book's entirety of it is speculating which one actually did it. Let me see if I can find. The father, funnily enough, is named Fyodor. He has his sons, Dmitri, Ivan, and Alyosha. And Dmitri is the one that's being accused because he had threatened his father not too long before his own murder. He's like, I wouldn't refer to him as a drunkard, but for my project, I said he was like one of the Smiths songs. I think, I forget which one. I'll have to look at it later, but I had actually a lot of fun with that project, but Dmitri is like, I guess, a babbling loudmouth who doesn't keep to himself. Ivan is the intellectual who also doesn't believe in God. And Alyosha is a believer of Christ, I guess. The next book is Crime and Punishment. This one also has sticky notes. I really wish I put sticky notes in the Brothers Karamazov so I could read you a quote. But we're going to look at the sticky notes I put in Crime and Punishment. And I'll see if I should read them out to you or not. I didn't like that one. Sorry. Oh, This is his diary. This is his mother's letter that I put up. Okay, let's see the last thing. I don't really know. So, maybe I'll find a part in the beginning. Where he committed the murder, but first I gotta find it. Give me a couple seconds. I might pause the video actually. Alright, I'll read a bit from page 83, part 1. Suddenly, there was a sound of footsteps in the room where the old woman lay. He stopped, still as death. But everything was quiet. He must have imagined it. Suddenly, there came a slight but distinct cry, or more as if someone softly and abruptly moaned and then fell silent. Again, there was a dead silence for a minute or two. He sat crouched by the trunk and waited, barely breathing, then suddenly jumped up, seized the axe, and ran out of the bedroom. I'd read this if I were you. It was pretty good. I liked how they went through his mental break, but the next book I haven't read. That was pretty loud. That's pretty loud. I hope it's not God coming to smite me. Okay, this book is The Idiot. I have yet to read this book actually, but compared to the three that I just shown you, this guy, the idiot, is supposedly a pure soul who is truly good, and that's what makes him different in a corrupt world. And finally, before we move on to the more fun books instead of depressing ones, is the complete stories of Franz Kafka. Now, I fell in love with Franz Kafka when I first read Metamorphosis. I know plenty of people love that book, or that short story, I guess. It was pretty long to me, but I felt like it was really sad. I don't know how to describe it. The first time I read it, I was like in a state of shock with how it ended. And then the second time I read it, I cried. It was really sad. But he has other works that I do like too. Currently, I'm on the, I think it's the wedding in the country. Wedding preparations in the country. And yeah, now that we have gone through classics, we shall soon go do the Fun Kids version. Okay, I lied. Some of these aren't kid fun, but books I just found out that I forgot I had. So the first one that I will show you is one that I totally forgot I had, and I can't believe I forgot. I have Animal Farm. It's really thin. I actually haven't read this in a while, so I kind of forgot the plot. It's okay, guys. Another book I have that I haven't read in a while is No Longer Human. I bought this when it was the hype because, I was easily influenced. It's okay. The next book is Annihilation. I'm pretty sure I watched the movie on this, where there's like this thing that alternates your DNA and turns you into multiple things. In the movie, a group of women go out there, and only one comes back, and she has tattoos of some of the women in the other area. But, wow, that's loud. I'm sorry, gang, this is all we'll have. So, yeah. Then I have Mornings with Me, or Without Me, sorry. I bought this recently. This is about a woman who finds a stray cat, I believe. I thought it was really cute, and I haven't finished it because I cried and I couldn't read anymore. I was really upset. But thought it was so cute. It reminded me of my cat. Now we're gonna get into actual kids' books. So, what about The Borrowers? So, does anyone know The Secret Life of Arrietty? This book is what inspired it. It's basically the same premise. Tiny little people live in a house that isn't actually a regular sized house. It's in fact a tiny house under a kitchen floor. Yeah. I loved it. Okay, this one isn't really child friendly. Coraline. I hate Neil Gaiman. I hate him. I read that entire article / whatever it was when it came out the day of in the middle of school. I'm pretty sure I was so angry. I hate him. I forget when I bought this, but I hate him to my core. But I do love Coraline. Coraline was a great movie and a book. Coraline is actually, funnily enough, a comfort movie of mine. When I go through rough patches, I usually watch Coraline at least once or twice because there's something so nostalgic about it. Another book that inspired a Studio Ghibli movie. Kiki's Delivery Service. I loved Kiki's Delivery Service. And that cat right there looks just like mine. It's just so cute. A lot of these books are basically the books that inspired Studio Ghibli movies. It's so cute, so sweet. Okay, so this is the book, this is the sequel to Howl's Moving Castle, The House of Many Ways. I have not read it yet, but trust me, I will, because I've read Howl's Moving Castle at least 5 times. Here's my Howl's Moving Castle book. I love this book to my core because it equally is as enchanting as the movie was. If you thought the movie was beautiful, I'd recommend reading the book because to me in the movie we didn't learn as much as you wanted to about Sophie and her family. Yes, we learned some, but not enough for me personally. But the book kind of delves into it a little bit more in the beginning. You learn more about her family and all that fun stuff. And finally, the book that I've been reading, Morty. Now, sometimes I just refer to it as Mort because his E is in parentheses. But this is a book about anthropomorphic cats and ants, and I guess dogs, becoming like human-like and rebelling against the oppressive humans that were once their owners. I thought it was good so far. So yeah, now we're gonna move on to, I suppose, my manga collection. Okay, I have brought the first volumes of a bunch of manga that I own. I'm just gonna maybe tell you about it or just complain. So the first manga volume we have is Windbreaker Volume 1. I watched Windbreaker before I got the manga, and I really loved it. I wish, though, that we had more of my favorite character, Kotoa, because, of course, this follows a lot of like friendship and how Sakura grows as a character along with those around him. But I wish Kotoa was involved more than she is. She's not there as much as I'd hope. The next one is my personal favorite. I have not found one that I've liked more than this. That is The Summer Hikaru Died. Now, this changed my life because Hikaru dies in the woods and his body gets taken by a ghost, I suppose. Some form of entity. And his best friend, Yoshiki, I think is how you say his name, knows it's not the real him. I really love the art style of it. Let's see if I can get you a good example of what we're dealing with. I always found that the monster, or the thing that was inside of Hikaru, was like a way to show, because these two are like gay to me, and I feel like the monster is just because I don't know, I'm crazy. Ignore me, ignore how I can't talk. Okay, forgive me because I don't know how to say this one's name. Pause, let me read the front because it's also just Kukurugai. I don't care. I liked it because Patty on front, Patty in center. But I thought it was an interesting concept. Although I think to me, this is like my Chainsaw Man. I have all the latest volumes, I'm pretty sure. Let me. Like, that's my baddie. Too good, too good. I always thought he was funny too. But they're like these demons. I forget if they're called demons or not. Anyway, he's like half, and he creates her weapons, and it's just really cool. I'd recommend reading it instead of listening to me babble. Then we have Twilight Bound on a Cocoon. I got this back in 2020 when I was obsessed with it. I have up to volume maybe 9 or 10, and low-key, I don't want it anymore. I thought the art style was great, and I thought it was cool. But, 1 second. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I just don't think it's me anymore. And I feel bad because I love it. I have its prologue, and I have its after school, and I have its illustrations. I loved it that much. But it's just so sad. So yeah. 1 second. Let me move these. I have to check the time. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to text my mom on my computer. Okay, the next one that made me cry my eyes out by the end. Land of the Lustrous. This is Foes, and Foes is kind of weak. And throughout the whole thing, they are beaten, and then they get this gold-like liquid thing that counts as their arm, and by the end of it, they are nothing. They are destroyed, and it's terrible. But they see a younger version of them, another Foes, run away, and it made me cry. I sobbed. That's about it. I cannot tell you anymore. The next one, I just got this. Apparently, this is a game. Like, The Witch's House, The Diary of Ellen is a game. And I didn't know. I bought both volumes for this because there's only 2, apparently, I guess. I never found a third. And this is a game. But I thought this was really, like, crazy. So, yeah. I'd read it if you like horror. The next one I have is Spy Family. I read Spy Family a lot. I would rewatch it a bunch. Spy Family is something that like touches deep in my soul. I love found families, and this one just had what I wanted. I can get over Anya being annoying sometimes. She's only a child. Everyone should stop being weird about her. I don't know what the hell your problem is. Next one. Skip and Loafer. I love Skip and Loafer. These two, I love them. No one understands how much I love them. And they love each other, it makes me cry. Because they dated and then they broke up, and I'm hoping they get back together again. Because it took him too much time to realize his feelings, and she already knew hers. It just makes me sad. I'm sick, but his story makes so much sense. I understand why he didn't understand his feelings. I'm sick. I'm ill. Every time I think about them, I get sad. I think that's about it. I have a bunch of Junji Ito stuff, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed my long rant. There wasn't much ASMR other than me talking, I guess. I kind of stopped tapping. So, the storm's coming. I'll pray for you and me.